Hey, bookworms, how you doing? On the phone, I have Ashley Miles, an author of Messy, Beautiful, and Almost Home, beaming live from,
Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
that's right, way up in Wisconsin, too, just so you know, way up in the woods. All right, so Ashley, tell me about how you got into writing.
So I've always wanted to write, even when I was a little girl. But I never told anybody that I wanted to do that because I didn't want anybody to squash my dreams. So I just, let life be, right? And did all the things that are required of you. Got married, had kiddos, and it just kept picking at me. So one day I decided, okay, it's time. So I wrote a whole book, the whole thing, front to back, all of the things, and I hated it. So I deleted the whole thing, and then I tried again. I kept Ava and Evan, not so much who they were, but basically just their names, and I wrote Messy Beautiful, and I loved it, and so I figured I needed to share it with the world.
Excellent. And Messy Beautiful is a contemporary romance book, right?
Yeah.
And who would you say is the target audience?
So I would say that it would be anybody with a busy schedule, basically. So with me being a wife and a mother of four and working full time and still writing, um, I wrote my chapters so anybody who's busy is able to read at least one chapter within 5 minutes. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're super busy and you still want that little escape, you can get a whole chapter and it feels super accomplished just by getting that one chapter in. So it's for those busybodies that, still want to escape, and then anybody that, wants to feel heard, basically. If you've loved somebody, lost somebody, or lost yourself, this is a really good book to jump into just because it goes over all of those things and it's super relatable.
I read the blurb and it talks about loving someone without losing yourself. Can you go into more detail on that and how that relates to the book?
Yeah, so with that, when you read Messy Beautiful, you'll understand that Ava had gone through some things. And she's afraid to love somebody because she's going to lose herself. And she finds out that she was wrong. So with that, it's just her exploring how letting go a little bit of control and opening her heart just a wee little bit as she is able to have both things, herself and love.
Okay. And being a romance book, how many peppers would you say on the pepper scale would it be?
It would be three-fourths of a pepper because I kept in mind that my children are going to read my books, and they are not quite of age to read spicy just yet, with our daughters being 9, our son is 13, but, he's not into contemporary romance. But I don't want them to know that mom knows things until they're of age, and then we might get a little more spicy. So it's three-fourths of a pepper.
Okay. And is it a standalone book or part of a series?
Currently it's a standalone, but I will be writing Evan's story here after I finish the audiobooks for Messy Beautiful and Almost Home. And the way I'm writing it, you won't have to read one before the other. They kind of will just go together. So it's not a sequel per se, it's just, they're all standalone. So you could pick up any of my books and read it, and you wouldn't have to ask, oh, what happened before this. That's not how I'm going to write them. I want you to be able just to pick up any of the books and just have a great time reading it.
Excellent. And these sound, spring and summer is coming. These sound like good beach reads. Is that true?
Oh my gosh, yes. Especially, when you take the kids to the beach and whatnot, and every couple minutes they need a snack or they need more sunscreen. You're able to get chapters in no time because they're short. So even when the kiddos need you, you're still able to read.
Excellent. And this is take two of our interview because of a technical difficulty of me trying to cook all at the same time. And so I happen to know about your audio book trajectory here. So can you tell us about this audio that you're working on?
Yeah, so I am currently working on doing an audiobook for Messy Beautiful. I am narrating it myself because I have gotten feedback, not only from my husband, but from those that have gone to my events, saying that they could listen to me all day. So I figured I might as well put it in audio version because my brother-in-law had indicated the only way he will probably be able to read my book is by listening to my book because he works all day long. Also with that, I feel like I would probably be the best storyteller for my book because I really get into it just because I love it so much. So I'm super excited to see how it turns out when I get it finished.
Excellent. And you love the book. I read a little bit of the book, and it reads very well. And what have other readers responded to you about Messy Beautiful?
Yeah. So I've had a lady reach out to me, and she read Messy Beautiful in no time. And so she was asking when my second book was coming out. And I had told her, and she was super excited, and put it on her calendar, actually. And when it came out, she was the first one to purchase it. And she reached out to me just recently saying, she's trying to read it slow because she hasn't heard me say anything about my next book, and she doesn't want to rush through it, even though it's really good. So that is super wonderful that I make those connections. So glad to hear that. I've also had somebody reach out to me that has never read a book. I guess you don't count like books in school, right? Because you're told to read those books. Right. But she's never read a book for fun. And she got my book on a Friday night. She's like, I'll let you know, when I started, whatever. The next morning, I had a message from her saying I couldn't put it down and I finished it. So that in itself was just mind-blowing to me. Like, oh, my Lanta, she loved it. So it's just amazing. And then I also had a gal reach out to me from New York and told me she had purchased my book and she loved it. And oh my gosh, it was just eye-opening because I've never been to New York, but yet my book is in New York. Like, that's just amazing. Just amazing.
Right. And what do you enjoy most about writing?
What I love most about writing is honestly the first draft. Because I can just put it all out on paper and just, all of the things, all of the thoughts. It is probably the most messiest first draft you would probably ever read. But it's just because I want to put all of the things out there and then clean it up later. Because the way in which I write, I form my characters, not only their name, but who they are as a person. And then I build people around them, and then I do my outline, which tends to change quite often because with that first draft, it just explodes, which is absolutely phenomenal, and I love it so much.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the characters and their personalities?
Yeah, of course. So Ava, she is very much to herself. She doesn't like to open up. She's very enclosed. She's a bit how should I put it? She's a bit irrational. But a person really isn't, right? When you read the book and you understand what she's been through, you're going to understand why she's that way. She is very strong, in my opinion, because of what she's dealt with and what she is allowing herself to feel and go through. And then Evan, he's absolutely phenomenal. He's not this Prince Charming on a white horse kind of thing. He's more realistic, right? So he's very steady. He doesn't push Ava this way or that way. He lets her be herself. He lets her be emotional, but he's still there and supporting her. And a lot of people that have read Messy Beautiful have asked, is this your story? Well, there's a little bit of me and Ava, but there's also a little bit of my husband and Evan. So sort of, kind of, but not completely. So it's really a wonderful when those that are really close to me have read the book and they think it's my story, but it's not 100% my story. meaning my life. So yeah, they are a wonderful fit, and I just love them.
Awesome. And what is something that you struggled with Messy Beautiful? Or Almost Home, either one.
Yeah, so the hardest part for any of the books that I have published is hitting that publish button. Everybody would think like writing the actual book, no, that's the fun part. All of that is the fun part. Pushing that publish button because you're so vulnerable, right? Like you're putting yourself out there, you're opening your heart, and it's going to be judged 110%. And you don't know what it's going to be until after you've hit the button. So yes, that is absolutely the hardest part of the whole process is just being vulnerable.
And the cover, how did you come up with the cover, and what have you found from readers that may have surprised you in connection with that?
Yeah, so for instance, for Messy Beautiful, the cover is of my version of Ava, and you'll read in this book how she tends to look out the window when she's needing a moment to like ground herself and not go bananas, right? So this is my version of Ava, and it was a really hard thing for me to do to create an image of her because I wanted her to be anybody's Ava, right? Like everybody's going to have their own thoughts of what she looks like. So it was really hard for me to put this as my cover, but I felt the need that I had to. But with Almost Home, when I created that, I had my kiddos look at it, and my oldest daughter was like, I don't really like that. I was like, oh God, well, if she doesn't really like it, what happens to Betsy? Who else is not going to like it? So I tweaked it a little bit with my husband's input because he is the one that gets to read my rough draft before I go through and clean it up for everybody else to read. And he points out a few things here and there, which I completely appreciate. And I redid Almost Home's cover, and my daughter came back through, and she's like, yeah, I like that better. Perfect. So it had passed our test, so I'm assuming that it should be good enough for the world to look at.
Excellent. And you're an indie author, right?
Yes. The whole reason for that is I know a lot of people like, oh, you don't have an agent, and you don't have a publisher house and all of the things, right? Mm-hmm. Right. But the reason for that is because this is my image. This is my words, my heart, all out on the pages. And I still want to control that. I still want to keep control of my words. And being an indie author is absolutely beautiful. The support from the writer groups that I'm in are just absolutely phenomenal.
Excellent. And where can people find you online?
Yeah, so I do have an author page on Amazon. I didn't even really honestly know that was a thing until I became an indie author. So make sure you check that out because that is super neat. And then I'm also on Goodreads, and then I do have a Facebook page that I'm super active on. It is Ashley Miles Contemporary Romance out there. And I'm always posting fun little things, tips, tricks, just silly questions sometimes, just to, clear your mind about the busy work day, or letting you know about events or anything coming up. So yeah, it's a really good place to chat with me.
All right. It is the 23rd of March, 2026. Any events coming up that you want to plug?
Yeah. So this Friday, I am going to have an event at Raw Deal in Menominee, Wisconsin from 6 to 8. And I will have a reading and send copies and answer questions as well as have a giveaway. And then that's all I have for March, as March is almost done. But April, I have 2 events. The first Friday of the month, I have another event at Raw Deal in Menominee for Almost Home. And that'll be my first event for Almost Home. So I'm super duper excited for that. And then the following day, I have an event at the Brewing Project in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And it's from 12 to 4. And it is a whole bunch of different vendors and authors and whatnot. And I'm super duper excited because it's last time I went, just as, you know, a customer, oh my gosh, it was a phenomenal turnout. So it was just, I'm super excited. I'm so excited to be a part of that event too.
Awesome.
So those are my next 3 things that I have coming up.
Excellent. And I hope there's super turnouts for those. I really enjoyed talking with you tonight, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I apologize it had to be twice due to technical difficulties, but would you like to leave the readers with your elevator pitch?
Of course, and by all means, it is a pleasure speaking with you. It's wonderful always chatting. But for my elevator pitch, what I would have to say is that if you have even 5 minutes in your day and you need a little escape and you want it to be about romance and complications and real life feelings and a first person, you definitely want to read Messy Beautiful. I always write in first person. I just feel that is so much more powerful. And I actually chatted with one of my friends and she's like, yeah, save this because this is exactly what I thought. It's perfect. That is perfect. So that's what I would say is if you have 5 minutes, pick up Messy Beautiful. You'll fall in love and you will not want to put it down.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ashley, and you have a great night and a great event on Friday.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to do this.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thank